This is the weekly Roundup on EAC News Channel, your look back at the past week in the Kingdom of Wonder. A very good evening. I'm Darshana Gochan.
The Prime Minister of Cambodia, Hun Sen, has agreed with the US representative from Texas, Elizabeth Ann Van Dyne, saying Cambodia wants to build good relations with the US by using trade cooperation. Speaking in a meeting with the Prime Minister of Cambodia on the morning of Monday, August the 29th, 2022, at the Peace Palace, Elizabeth Ann Van Dyne informed Prime Minister Hun Sen that she and the US Congress and delegation visit to Cambodia is to promote Cambodian-US relations intensified through existing agreements, especially on economic cooperation. The Prime Minister of Cambodia, Hun Sen, spoke about the history of Cambodia's relations with the United States and also agreed with Elizabeth that he wanted the two countries to strengthen ties. We look forward to seizing opportunities that are emerging, especially in the fields of trade, investment and education as the basis to strengthen relations between the two countries. Cambodia-US relations began in 1950 at the time when the world was in throes of the Cold War. This relationship has been seen as both good and bad since the beginning. In addition to that, as Cambodia and China get closer, the tensions of Cambodia-US relations are becoming more apparent. However, during a meeting with more than 2,000 Cambodians living in the United States and Canada in Washington, D.C. on May 11, Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen stated that the relations between Cambodia and the United States have reached a peak throughout history, both diplomatic and trade relations. He believes that some issues that Cambodia and the United States have misunderstood will be able to mediate with each other. Cambodia wants to be friends with all countries in the world, including the United States, he said.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has asked the leader of the League for Democracy Party to announce the dissolution of a planned gathering, allow his supporters to return home, and order the governor of Siem Reap to prepare transport for the people to return home to their provinces. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
This statement was made during the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of two new flyovers in Phnom Penh on Wednesday morning. Prime Minister Hun Sen claimed that Kem Vesna had pursued a policy to discourage supporters and added he monitoring Kem Vesna yesterday until past midnight and ordered provincial governor to prepare cars and food for people who want to leave to return to their home provinces. He also suggested that there should be no discrimination against those who were duped by Kem Vesna to gather at his plantation.
ចឹងខ្ញុំសូមថាឯកឧត្តមខំវាសាឬប្អូនខំវាសនាសូមបញ្ចប់ទៅហើយសូមកុំបង្ខាំងប្រជាពលរដ្ឋនៅក្នុងនោះតើបង្ខាំងបានប្រមាណថ្ងៃបើនៅខាងក្រៅវាអត់មានកើតអីនេះអត់មានកើតអីអញ្ចឹងទេសូមឲ្យប្រឡែងប្រជាជនជូនប្រជាជននឹងត្រឡប់មកផ្ទះវិញយកល្អលោកខំវាសនាចេញនៅបាត់វិជាថាគ្មានរឿងអីកើតឡើងទេប៉ុន្តែបើលោកបន្តលោកអាចថារក្សាជំនឿរបស់លោកដដែលប៉ុន្តែលោកបើកសិទ្ធថាអ្នកណាចង់នៅស្ដាប់ក៏នៅអ្នកណាមិនចង់ស្ដាប់ទៅទេចុះ
After disappearing from politics for a while, the president of the League for Democracy reappeared, claiming that he was Burma, Earth's protector, and he had seen that the Earth would suffer famine from flooding. He called on his party supporters, whom he calls his nephews, to gather at his farm in Siem Reap to avoid the great flooding, saying that he would protect the province from flooding. According to local media reports, more than 20,000 people gathered at his place after he put on a call, some of whom are Cambodian workers flew back from Korea, Japan and Thailand. Prime Minister Hun Sen has apologised to employees in Korea, Japan and Thailand who saw their Cambodian workers leave work to join Kem Vesna. He stated that Cambodia would like to acknowledge this mistake and ask the employees of these countries not to file lawsuits against the Cambodian government or the workers. Prime Minister Hun Sen reassured that he's consistently monitoring the situation and ordered the authorities to strengthen security to prevent further danger to the people, including a reminder to absolutely not encroach on illegal land. On Tuesday night, Kem Vesna made a post on his Facebook page cruising Prime Minister Hun Sen, to which the Prime Minister said, make him realise that this is not a political ploy to try and get the authorities to arrest the leader who appeared to be suffering from mental illness.
ទ្រាំមិនបានក៏ទៅតែទ្រាំអ្វីដែលលោកខឹមវាសនាចង់បានគឺចង់ឲ្យរដ្ឋាភិបាលប្រើប្រាស់កម្លាំងបបាយភ្លាមហើយចាប់ខ្លួនគាត់ភ្លាមបើសិនជាយើងហ៊ានធ្វើអញ្ចឹងគឺចូលអន្ទាក់របស់កម្មវិស្រាពិតប្រាកដធ្វើនយោបាយត្រូវមើលព្រៃទាំងមូលកុំមើលឈើម្ដងឲ្យសោះ
However, the Prime Minister added although Kemvesna insulted him, the League for Democracy leader did not call on his supporters to be armed forces to rise up against the government like other politicians have before. Kemvesna, 57, is a politician and former actor from the 1990s. He entered politics in 1998 as a member of the Sam Ramsey Party and was elected to Parliament in 2003. He later formed his own party, the League for Democracy, in 2006 and has been party leader ever since. Anthony Ellis, EAC News. Finally, after receiving the most votes, contestant Lem Tek Meng won the 4th season of Cambodian Idol. He received more votes than Tol Sopiti, Neng Davin and Sim Chang Polu. The Prime Minister of Cambodia posted a congratulatory message to candidate Lem Tek Meng on his official Facebook page on Sunday night, saying congratulations to Lem Tek Meng. In the end, success goes to the winner. Prime Minister Hun Sen donated 6 million reals to each of the top 4 finals. Contestant Lem Tek Meng from Kampong province went through the competition over the several weeks to become the winner of the 4th season of the world-class singers contest Cambodian Idol. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of the National Assembly Senate Relations, Ms. Men Sam An, attended the final contestant on the night of August the 28th, 2022. This competition is judged by 4 judges who are famous singers in the Kingdom of Cambodia, such as Ms. Ok Sokan Kanya, Mr. Chon Sonavaret, Mr. Nop Banaret, and Sok Selalin, at the end by the public voters.
Advancements in digital technology have led to the creation of a new paradigm. The digital economy has been identified and well recognized as a new growth driver and ecosystem that can contribute to increasing economic productivity and efficiency in Cambodia, as well as across the whole region and world. The Cambodian government is committed to building a vibrant digital economy so as to reap the benefits of this growth driver and to, importantly, not get left behind. This month's Give a Day event was focused on this subject. EAC News attended this event to better understand just how crucial the digital economy is for Cambodia. The 7th edition of the monthly Give a Day event was held on 19th August at the Cambodiana Hotel in Phnom Penh, focused on the topic Cambodia Digital Economy and FinTech Development Landscape and Policy. This month's event was attended by 63 participants from various stakeholder groups within the entrepreneurship ecosystem, such as investors, the government, entrepreneur support organizations, and entrepreneurs themselves. Dr. Nguyen Ly Thang, the executive director of the Tekcho Startup Center, a government-funded startup accelerator under the innovation arm of the Ministry of Economy and Finance, was invited to speak about the Give a Day topic of the month. He provided an overview of Cambodia's digital economy as it currently is, the policy framework and government strategy in place to promote the digital economy further, and what entrepreneur support organizations can do to help the digital economy become a major pillar and driver of growth. In his presentation, Dr. Nguyen Ly Thang spoke of Cambodia's 2050 vision, which includes becoming an upper-middle income country by 2030 and a higher-income country by 2050. Experts, including the Asian Development Bank, had predicted that Cambodia would be able to achieve its 2030 goal. However, these forecasts were largely made prior to the pandemic. Therefore, he said it is imperative that Cambodia find new and diversified growth drivers to support the GDP in order to retain this vision, especially as previously reliable pillars of the economy, like the tourism sector, have been fragile in the face of the pandemic.
As you might know that the current economy of Cambodia is depending on only a few pillars, and there is a mega trend around the region as well as in the global to utilize the advancement of the technology to create the digital economy. So hope that we can find a new growth driver to support our Cambodia economy through the digital economy.
Fostering the digital economy appears to be the right choice for Cambodia. Dr. Nguyen Ly Thang highlighted how the digital economy in Southeast Asia has only continued to grow during the pandemic and despite any regional or global tensions. In fact, by 2030, the Southeast Asian digital economy is forecasted to reach $1 trillion. Hence, Cambodia must adopt this trend now to keep up with regional developments. Dr. Nguyen Ly Thang said that in order for the digital economy to be a growth driver in Cambodia, it will need to account for at least 5% of the GDP. He said he is positive this can be achieved by 2025 or at least 2026, especially following the launch of the Cambodia Digital Economy and Society Policy Framework 2021 to 2035, a 15-year plan that provides guiding principles for digital transformation, including a fintech and digital payment infrastructure.
There is no common definition for the fintech in general. It depends on who you ask. But for the Cambodian government, we define fintechs as a technology or innovation that used in the financial services to improve the access to the financial service in a broadly manners.
Fintech as a sub-policy is beginning to gain more attention due to its fast growth and rising potential. Though largely only known to the public in the context of banking applications and online transactions, fintech encompasses both banking and non-banking tech innovations in the financial sector, including blockchain technology and Web 3.0. The Cambodian government is currently in the process of drafting the Cambodia Fintech Development Policy. In addition to drafting policies, Dr. Nguyen Ly Thang said that the government is also implementing what it calls digital enablers, digital platforms that serve as a foundation or infrastructure to support applications, digital development, and business.
I can put an analogy, something like this. I mean, for example, like you have a Nhan 24. Nhan 24 may rely on Google Map in order to provide the navigation to their driver and also pinpoint the location of the store as well. So Nhan 24 cannot invent the map easily because it's a lot of investment, and without the Google Map, so Nhan 24 cannot exist as well. In this analogy, the government tried to build the Google Map so that the other innovator startup can build application and connect to this digital enabler so that it can be easy for them to roll out their startup as well as their business operation as well.
Following Dr. Nguyen Ly Thang's presentation, participants engaged in a breakout discussion on what challenges and opportunities stakeholders may face while trying to leverage opportunities in fintech, as well as how they can support the digital economy. One participant, Emre Pinarsi from Social Venture Capital Institute, stated that he attended this event to learn more about the areas and companies his organization can invest in to benefit digital inclusion, improve financial inclusion, and support Cambodia's economic growth.
It's a very important area to develop the economy and to have actual impact as impact investors that we seek. It's really important for us to look at this, and that's why we are really willing to look for companies to invest in that are fintech and that are using these digital aspects.
Rajiv Pradhan, the country director of Swiss Contact, one of the facilitator organizations working to organize Give a Day, explained that this month's topic on digital economy and fintech was chosen because it is something that is still not fully understood by many stakeholders in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and to also share more widely what the Cambodian government is doing to enhance this field.
The digital economy is going to hit 1 trillion in 10 years in Southeast Asia. So I think if Cambodia, as Dr. Thang Ly has said, if we're not ready, we get left behind. So I think it's really important for Cambodia that the digital economy is looked at seriously, and the government is already, I'm really glad that the government is looking at it very seriously. And if the investors now understand that and get prepared to how to invest in the digital economy, I think it helps everyone in the sector and the country in general.
Give a Day is an initiative within the Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Building Project, jointly funded by Khmer Enterprise, USAID's We Act project through Pact Cambodia and Swiss Contact. The initiative hopes to strengthen the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Cambodia by deepening the trust-based relationships among system actors. The message of this month's Give a Day to stakeholders was clear. The digital economy is growing rapidly and at a massive scale worldwide. Cambodia must adopt this major trend now in order to not be left behind. However, the government cannot make this transition alone, and all stakeholders must work together to achieve this reality. Prime Minister Hun Sen has revealed a plan to establish the Via Aim city in Kandal province due to the potential of economic growth. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of 2 new flyovers in Phnom Penh on Wednesday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen said that after studying this matter, the city should be handed over to Kandal province to manage, and the decision to elect a new governor will be up to the government. He said that this is because in the past, when the government was studying the creation of 2 new provinces, some tried to convince the Prime Minister behind closed doors to select who will fill the provincial governor positions, which caused the Prime Minister to cancel the whole project.
គាត់ទៅសូមរំលឹកអត់មានបានឲ្យជួយឲ្យមកព្រំពេញទៀតទេព្រំពេញគ្រប់គ្រងប៉ុណ្ណឹងបានហើយទុកឲ្យខេត្តកណ្ដាលគេគ្រប់គ្រង
If it is decided to establish a new city in Kandal province, then Kandal will have 2 cities, Dak Mao and another city to be named either Lui Aim or Svai Trum. Secretary of State and spokesperson for the Ministry of Environment, Net Piektra, has declared that Cambodia produces more than 4 million tons of garbage per year, with a year-on-year growth rate of 10 to 12%. He added that only 50% of garbage in Cambodia is collected and dumped at landfills. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
Speaking at a press conference at the Council of Ministers on Tuesday morning, spokesman Net Piektra said that most of the waste produced in Cambodia, more than 60% is organic waste and more than 30% is plastic. He outlined that only 50% of garbage produced and dumped 243 different landfills, of which 162 are state-owned, other 50% is dumped into water sources, burned or disregarded onto open fields. He added, every day the total amount of waste dumped in the fields amounts to about 5,517 tonnes, and in a year the total waste amount is about 2 million tonnes. He said the Ministry of Environment and its partners are currently examining the possibility of setting up a clean landfill with modern technology. The Under-Secretary of State, the Ministry of Environment, Heng Naret, estimated that in the next 10 years the amount of garbage produced in Cambodia will increase to 9 million tonnes per year. So the state is preparing a policy to manage waste more efficiently. He added that the ministry now has a new combination of waste management measures, including recycling, strategic energy extraction, and the treatment of storage of waste as much as possible. He said, along with the prediction of an increase of solid waste, we are thinking about increasing the processing of extraction of garbage in the parallel, so that the last amount of solid waste is be disposed in the very least possible. According to the Under-Secretary Heng Naret, the increase in the garbage produced every year is due to the yearly increase of the population size as a result of economic growth. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The Cambodian Consortium for Out-of-School Children, led by Aid A Action, with financial support from Educate a Child, Rabbit School, and the Royal Government of Cambodia, represented by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports, organized the inauguration of a digital library and school building for children with intellectual disabilities and autism at Tulkok Primary School on Tuesday. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the details.
A 5-room building in Tulkok Primary School was renovated and converted into 3 classrooms, 1 sensory room and a 1-room digital library for the education of children with intellectual disabilities and autism. The Rabbit School organisation began renovations in 2019, which ran until the beginning of 2022. More than $46,000 was spent on the renovations work. Funding for the project was raised by Aid Action, Educate a Child, Word Trust, Cambodian singer and actor Un Pak Tom, Mr. Chi Selar, and the parents of the children. The Rabbit School is a Cambodian NGO that was established in 1997 as a pilot project to provide education for children with special needs at the Nutrition Centre. In 2008, it started the first integrated classroom in the Tulkok Primary School and a vocational training centre in Phnom Penh. Since 2014, it has been extending services to other provinces and currently has education projects in Kandal, Kampong Spu and Siem Reap provinces. The Cambodian Consortium of the School Children is an intensive implement in the partnership with national and international NGOs to contribute to a comprehensive Cambodian exclusive education system that caters to every child. including children with disabilities, girls, Indigenous children, children from poor families, children living in remote areas and overage children. The project is fully integrated with the Education Strategic Plan of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports, focusing on the 3 strategic policies of equitable access, quality and relevance, and ownership of accountability. Cooperation between partner organisation and stakeholders is based on the needs of the community and the school, as well as work experience of partner organisations. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has ordered the Minister of Culture to call the organizers of the Miss Grand Cambodia beauty pageant and to educate them after images from the pageant were criticized by the public for having a negative effect on society, culture, and the honor of Cambodian women. Prime Minister Hun Sen said that the models participating in the pageant and in the images in question were not at fault, but rather it is the pageant organizers that need to be called in for discussion.
ថាខុសត្រូវយ៉ាងម៉េចទេក៏ប៉ុន្តែមតិមហាជនគឺសម្ដែងនៅការសោកស្ដាយយើងត្រូវស្ដាប់នៅសម្លេងនេះផងស្ដាប់សម្លេងនេះផងហើយធ្វើការកែតម្រូវក្មួយដែលជាអ្នកទៅសម្ដែងអត់មានកំហុសទេព្រោះគេឲ្យសម្ដែងមិនទៅដល់សម្ដែងអញ្ចឹងអត់មានកំហុសទេ គេឲ្យស្លៀកអីត្រូវតែស្លៀកតាមគេចុះបើមិនស្លៀកតាមគេវាមិនត្រូវស្តង់ដារប្រកួតអញ្ចឹងវាអត់មានខុសក្មេងៗទៅប្រកួតទេវាខុសអ្នកចាត់ការអ្នកដឹកនាំ
Ministry of Culture spokesperson Longbona Srewat told EAC News that Miss Grand Cambodia pageant organizers had been summoned by the ministry and they had publicly apologized for this matter on 25th August. He said the organizers stated that images of the models being criticized were only part of the show's rehearsal and are not in the real competition, a matter which the ministry required the organizers to clarify properly. The spokesperson said he understands that sometimes leaking pictures and videos is the intention of the organizers to attract the public to watch their program, but he described this as an immoral act. Following the Prime Minister's announcement regarding this issue in his speech on Wednesday morning, the Culture Ministry spokesperson confirmed that in the near future, the ministry will summon the pageant organizers again to give disciplinary counsel and urge consideration for further action. The Miss Grand Cambodia beauty pageant is organized by Moha Hung Productions, whose chairman is Mr. In Sopin. On 24th August, photos of Cambodian models participating in the pageant were leaked, where they were seen wearing dresses with iconography depicting gambling and casinos to represent the provinces of Bavet and Poipet. This provoked a strong negative reaction from the public, which grew into more criticism directed at the organizers when seeing that several of the dresses worn by the models were deemed to be inappropriately revealing. Prime Minister Hun Sen reacted to both of these cases on Wednesday morning, asking the Ministry of Culture to review this incident and prevent something similar from occurring again in the future.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
The People's Republic of China donated 150 vehicles to the Ministry of National Defense of Cambodia on Thursday. This donation was made in response to the Defense Ministry's need in support of the ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus later this year. EAC News reporter Decca Nin has the details.
Minister of Defense Deputy Prime Minister Tia Banh has told reporters that the People's Republic of China made this donation in response to a request Cambodia made to China in the past. He added that some of the 150 vehicles will be accompanied by a high-level ASEAN delegation for the upcoming ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus in Cambodia. He said, "This donation was made in a sincere spirit. They responded to this time. We put problems in the past until now. The vehicles have come to Cambodia successfully." The delivered cars are all Chinese luxury brands such as Hongxi, GAC, and Havel. The handover ceremony took place at the Victory Monument in Sangkat Prek Tasek, Kantroi Jangva, Phnom Penh, with Cambodian representatives and senior officials of the Chinese embassy in attendance. Dekanin, EAC News.
The General Commissioner of the National Police has added officers who can speak English, Chinese, and Vietnamese to receive reports from foreigners through the National Police Hotline. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
The move to add officers responding to the hotline who can speak English, Chinese and Vietnamese was made especially in regard to increasing number of illegal detention and human trafficking cases involving foreigners in Cambodia. The hotline number for the General Commissioner of the National Police is 117. The General Commissioner of National Police has also called on people all across Cambodia to cooperate with authorities in eliminating human trafficking and all forms of illegal detention by calling and putting their confidence in the hotline number 117. The 117 hotline connects to the Commander Centre of the National Police, wanting to receive for the responder reports immediately, such as reports of criminal offences, traffic offences, fires or other accidents. Members of the public can call 117 free of charge, even if their phone balance is insufficient. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
On Sunday, August 28th, Uk Chanta, the Deputy Director of the Phnom Penh Department of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports, was the guest of honor for Golden Gate American School's graduation ceremony for its kindergarten and nursery school students held at the Sofitel in Phnom Penh. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more details.
Uk Chanta, Deputy Director, Phnom Penh Department of Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport, gave a speech with encouraging and congratulating the students on their graduation. He also gave an insight and information about the education sector in Cambodia and its direction it is heading towards in the future. Representatives from the school also spoke and gave some perspective on the programs that are currently being offered at the Golden Gate American School, as well as the plans for the future. During her speech, Ms. Claire Chandler, the head of nursery and kindergarten curriculum, said, "We are proud of our kindergarteners and their accomplishments." The students also performed dances and songs for their parents, teachers and distinguished guests. A few of the students relished in the spotlight and offered unique but entertaining performances that received an extra ovation. Overall, all students performed very well and were rewarded with a standing ovation. Ms. Claire Chandler also mentioned after the students' performance, they have worked hard on their performances and did very great today. It is wonderful that the parents and family have had a chance to see them not only having fun, also recognising the important milestone that comes from finishing kindergarten and moving on to primary school. Golden Gate American School would like to thank all their students, parents, teachers and staff for doing such a great work and to see the school grow what it is today, and for the new campus which was announced recently. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
Prime Minister Hun Sen posted a picture of his children gathering for mealtime on social media, writing that his children always come to accompany their parents to eat, and that there should be no unhappy matters brought to the dinner table that would cause a loss of appetite. EAC News reporter Deccan Din has the story.
Prime Minister Hun Sen made this post on his official Facebook page on Thursday evening, 1st of September, and said that even though all of his children are busy, they never forget to come and eat with him. He wrote, "Table meeting today, quorum 5 out of 5. My children, they always come to accompany their parents for lunch or dinner. They know for sure that apart from lunch, I do not have enough time to meet them. Because I am busy, they are busy. This is the table where the children can ask me things, or I can ask my children things, or in other words, we can discuss work, but we do not bring unhappy stories to discuss." Prime Minister Hun Sen has 5 children, Hun Manait, Hun Mana, Hun Manat, Hun Mani, and Hun Mali. Lekanin, EAC News.
The Angkor Institute has informed all foreigners who have been staying in Cambodia for 2 years or more that they can apply for a year-round ticket to visit Angkor and Kok Kay temples, free of charge from 1st September 2022. In a statement issued on Thursday, 1st September, the Angkor Enterprise informed all diplomats, investors, officials of international organizations, foreigners working in all kinds of private companies and enterprises, experts working in ministries, public and private institutions, and their families that they can fill in an online application form to visit Angkor and Kok Kay temples through the Angkor Enterprise website from 9th September 2022, or apply in person at the Angkor institution during business hours. Applications must be accompanied by a copy of the individual's passport and residence visa showing that they have lived in Cambodia for 2 years or more, along with a 4x6 photograph. According to the Angkor Enterprise, this decision was made to promote domestic tourism as well as provide incentives for foreigners staying in Cambodia. There are currently 3 options for visiting the Angkor temples: a 1-day pass for $37, a 3-day pass for $62, and a 7-day pass for $72. However, to encourage more tourists to visit Cambodia, those who buy a 1-day pass can visit the temples for 5 days, those who buy a 3-day pass can visit the temples for 10 days, and those who buy a 7-day ticket can continue to visit the temples for 30 days. Additionally, those who buy long-term tickets can visit the temples from 2 months to 1 year, valid until 31st December 2022. As of the end of July 2022, Cambodia earned more than $3.3 million from the sale of Angkor temple tickets, an increase of more than 1,000% compared to the same period in 2021. The Cambodian Army and the 7th Vietnam Military Command have expressed their pride in the development of friendly relations and cooperation between Cambodia and Vietnam, and aim to bring more active development of cooperation and relations between the two countries' armies to allow the relationship to grow even more. In the meeting to review the results of the cooperation in 2019 to 2022 and set the direction for the next year between the Cambodian Army Command and the commander of the 7th Vietnam Military Command, Brigadier General Nguyen Truong Thang highlighted the importance of mutual assistance and cooperation in the spirit of friendship and solidarity, which the two country units have a long-standing tradition of. These are important factors in maintaining mutual respect and trust as good neighbors. During the meeting, both sides expressed their pride in the development of friendly relations and the comprehensive cooperation between Cambodia and Vietnam, in line with the principles and directions of major cooperation set by the governments of both countries. These include the strengthening and enhancement of bilateral relations in line with the motto, good neighborliness, traditional friendship, comprehensive cooperation, and long-term stability. The commander of the Cambodian Army, Lieutenant General Hun Manait, welcomed the visit of the 7th Military Region delegation of the Vietnamese People's Army, attending this important meeting between the two countries following a break caused by the COVID-19 outbreak and which coincides with the 55th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries, with the leaders of both countries marking 2022 as the year of Cambodia-Vietnam friendship. Through the report summarizing the results of cooperation in 2019 to 2021, the two sides highly appreciated the cooperation results achieved so far, particularly in maintaining regular communication through mechanisms at all levels between the units. The Royal Cambodian Armed Forces and the 7th Vietnam Military Command continue to work closely together, including in providing support to one another in the ongoing fight against COVID-19. The cooperation between the two military units has made a significant contribution to maintaining a border of friendship, peace, stability, and development, as well as preventing and reducing all cross-border crimes. The two sides have engaged in economic exchange, done business with one another, and contributed to the improvement of people's lives in both Cambodia and Vietnam. Regarding the direction for 2022 to 2023, both sides agreed to continue joint efforts to carry out tasks in accordance with the Protocol on Bilateral Defense Cooperation 2020 to 2024 and the Annual Cooperation Plan between the Cambodian and Vietnamese Ministries of Defense. To effectively bring about more active development of cooperation relations between the armies of the two countries, they will focus on a number of priorities, such as cooperation on land border protection, cooperation on humanitarian assistance and disaster relief along the border, contributing to the demarcation of border posts as soon as possible in accordance with the work plans of the two governments, promoting cooperation in the fight against transnational crime, and further support on human resource training. On this occasion, the two sides also reiterated and thanked each other for the spirit of helping one another during difficult circumstances, such as when Cambodia helped Vietnam become liberated in the 1970s, and when Vietnam helped Cambodia overthrow the genocidal regime of Pol Pot and rebuild the country to what it is today. Thanks for watching the weekly roundup here on EAC News Channel. More from the EAC News team on Monday night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.